Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It's me, Teresa Perrin. Gosh, ATXI was absolutely awful today. Just completely awful. But I think there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm not sure it's going to be tomorrow. It may be next week because it's all going to depend on how they price that offering tomorrow, in my honest opinion. According to Webull, it says estimated between $7 and $8 per unit. So, guys, we'll see what they come out with, and I'm not quite sure how that's going to work because I know that one unit gives you a warrant to get a share immediately, and then you get another warrant to purchase a share later on, and I'm not sure what the price value attached to the second share is going to be because I can't imagine that it's going to be 2 shares for that one price. If it is, then plan to exit quickly because the price will drop. If it's not and they have to buy it for a set price, then that's a different story. However, that being said, let's take a look at what's happening and a very bullish signal that I saw today after the close that gives me hope. Well, there's a couple things that give me a lot of hope. But guys, I am going to remind you again, there is still a gap fill to the downside. Do we have to fill it? No, we don't have to fill it. It is quite low. I hope we don't go there. But remember, there's always the potential. So, anyways, with nothing I say is financial advice, always do your own DD and let's get started. By the way, there's a gap fill to the upside that's very nice too. So, anyways, let's see what we have here. And if you could smash that like button for me, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, guys, so I'm going to start with the bullish news first because I'm a positive person and like to deliver positive news. If you see this purple line here, that's my 13 SMA because for some reason it's backwards. Normally my 13, guys, when you're looking at my charts is green, but in this case, I don't know what happened. It's opposite. So this purple line is my 13 SMA, and that red line is the 200 SMA. And guess what happened today? Thank you to this candle coming down. It allowed us to make that cross above the 200 SMA. And guess what? The candle, I think, is going to bounce that $6 on the 20 SMA, which is this blue line, and hopefully bounce to the upside so that these trend lines can continue to move up and cross above the 200 SMA. The fact that 13 SMA closed above the 200 is a very, very bullish signal, guys. If it does dip down, then it could cross back under, which we do not want it to do. So let's hope that we bounce off this 20 SMA here and continue to make a move to the upside. That is what I'm expecting. And in the after hours, we did actually hit that $6 and we bounced up from there. As you can see here, let's see what time I took this image at. Oh gosh, I hope I'm not losing internet access again. Guys, my internet has been strange lately. It's taking a while to load. I apologize. All right, guys, sorry about that. I did have to fix something. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, so as you can see here, this is the daily image blown up. I wanted to show you the gap. That's a little bit above 10, about 10.25 up to 12 something, right? So that's our gap to the upside. Now, our gap to the downside is right here at this $4 and something mark. So, and that goes to about $5 and something. We hoping not to come down to fill that gap, right? We'd like to continue to bounce off this $6. And guys, we do have support there at the $6 mark and move back to the upside. So hopefully whatever they price that offering at tomorrow will allow us to do that. And as you can see, this is showing us from 8:52 today. We just got totally obliterated starting in the pre-market, guys. And let me tell you something. There were no shares left to borrow. Go look at my Twitter. I tweeted something out. I watched the level 2. They were intentionally driving this price down. There were people offering to buy it at a set price, and they would not sell it to them at that price. They were driving it lower. They were not filling their ask at that. It was the most bizarre thing I ever saw. And the numbers were not matching up, and they kept driving it lower and lower, and people were getting scared trying to sell at higher levels. And as it was going lower, what did they do? They panicked and they went down and they sold even lower, driving it even further down, guys. This was all intentional, done by the market makers. I literally watched this for hours because I was in disgust at what they were doing. Which, guys, they need the shares. I mean, think about it. Prior to this offering, there's only 685,000 shares in this free float. Now, I don't care what the short interest tells us. I'm going to tell you something. There has to be an astronomical amount of naked shorting in order to support the fact that this has been trading anywhere from 10 to 30 times the number of shares that we have in a day. That is just so freaking screwed up. And like I said, we should be able to absorb those 1.9 million shares and even the 1.9 additional warrants, guys. And I think a lot of the reason behind them doing what they're doing with the price right now is because they know that they're able to scoop those up and they want to get in as cheap as possible to buy back the FTDs that I'm sure they produced during that time, right? So that's my thought process. I could be 100% off, but I highly doubt it. So this kept popping up today too. Like, here's an example. Avenue Therapeutics shares continue to drop, down 17% after Wednesday's loss. And again, it talks about the offering. And people were acting like this was new news. Guys, I don't know if people don't read or they choose to read certain things or they don't listen. I don't get it. But literally, you would see them, or they're spammers just trying to stir up FUD and be like, oh my God, they're doing an offering. No kidding. Like, we knew about this. I mean, I don't know, guys. I just don't know. So the short interest, as Fintel tells it, is 53.58% of the float. And obviously it wouldn't take long to cover that, but yet they still haven't covered, right, guys? So you have to really think outside the box. Why is that? Because they can't, because they don't have the shares to cover. And guess what? There are no shares left to borrow. Absolutely zero still. And all day I checked this at least 30 times today. It did not change. There was never any shares available to borrow. So how did the price get to where it was? I'm telling you right now, guys, go look at the screenshot. That was just one example. There were worse things that I saw. I don't know. Just disgusting. All right. The cost to borrow is 856%, guys. 856%. Okay. That's insane. And let me tell you, this has like the red box theory like all over it. I don't know if you guys, any of you were in that play or not. Yeah, guys, it was bad. It was really bad. I mean, it went to 18. We all should have sold at 18, hoping we all shouldn't have sold when this hit 16, to be perfectly honest with you. Maybe in hindsight, it would have been better. You know, I did sell my trading position, but my long-term hold I held. And guys, I still held it just because I was watching this price action in absolute disbelief, and something told me, who cares if it's dipped down lower? It's going to eventually go back up. Don't give them what they want. And yeah, that probably wasn't the smartness in me, but whatever. This isn't at risk at this time, you know, to be, you know, delisted or anything like that. I mean, obviously, if they don't comply with getting the minimum bid price up, or the 35 million, but that's why they're doing the offering, guys. So to me, I don't have a fear about that. You know, it's not really a concern. So it's a different situation than Redbox, and I do believe we bounce back, and we bounce back very hard. Now, check this out. They're not showing really many failure to delivers at all, although they were building towards the end of the month. And I assure you that come the next report, you know, when we get that in another week or so, I bet you that these FTDs have gone through the roof, which is why they are so desperate for your shares, right? So keep that in mind. Now, going back to this, remember, there is this gap fill to the upside. And if anybody remembers Redbox, it did something similar on the way, went up, came back down, went back up. Although in Redbox's case, it only went back up to around $12 because they had a bunch of warrants that got executed at 11 or 11.50 or something like that. I can't remember off the exact top of my head, but it only went back to that level because of that reason, and because everyone was shorting the holy bejesus out of it, knowing that it was going to become CSSE. So guys, I do believe we at minimum get this gap filled, but I believe that we have the potential to go a lot higher if you pull out and look at the 52-week chart or watch another ATXI video where I had it. I just wanted to give you a brief update. So anyways, guys, you can sleep easy tonight. Tomorrow, just be rest assured, depending on what that offering comes out with, if it prices between $7 and $8, I'd expect it to stay around $7 to $8. Maybe it can go up after those shares are sold. Who knows? It's possible. But if it doesn't, then I would expect the beginning of next week. If it's priced lower, be prepared to sell because it's going to dip harder unless you don't mind holding and waiting through it. But, there is a possibility of that too. So I just want to give you the forewarning without any bias. I really did consider selling. I was going to sell at $8, like I said. Then I didn't and said, all right, I'll sell around $7. But guys, that dip from $7 to $6 didn't happen the way I expected it to. And I just said, screw it at that point, because literally, what am I going to do? Sell it to buy it back $1 cheaper? Yeah, maybe I could. But like I said, this is a swing trade and it's meeting my criteria. It has crossed above now, which is bullish. Unless I see this cross back under, I am not concerned at all. All right. Thank you so much for watching. And please, guys, do not over leverage yourself that you have to be worried about it. That's a whole other thing. If you're trading with risk that you can't afford to lose, then you shouldn't be trading it. If you're worried and you have to watch this every minute, then guys, you shouldn't be in this play. I need to tell you that, and I need to be honest, and I need to tell you too that I have a much higher risk tolerance than a lot of people because, I'm not day trading this right now. I may open another position tomorrow for a day trade, but right now I am swing trading it. So please understand that. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.